And then
I had to pause the show at one point.
the show and you look at me and you're like, why? Why am I feeling some kind of attraction towards this man?
Yeah, right. I was like, what? I just look at you like suspiciously. I'm like, you're like, what? And I'm like, why do I find this man attraction? Why do I think that he has a sexy mustache? And it was very, I mean, so mine is, just kind of, it's only on the bottom half right here. I can't grow it like a full mustache up here.
Right.
But he has a full, like robust, sexy mustache,
I feel like it only worked in that time period, but.
I mean, it was dope. Honestly, it was. And I'm looking at you like, why am I attracted to this man? Okay, so today we're talking about fun stuff. Obviously, because of the nature of our work, that I'm a relationship coach and I work mostly with couples who are in a crisis and who are hurting and suffering and in pain. A lot of times we're not talking about fun stuff. We're talking about difficult stuff like conflict resolution and boundaries and all of those kind of things. But today we're going to talk about what happens when you are in that crisis and you start to stabilize and you're no longer drowning. You finally got your head above water. You finally learn to survive through that crisis. You've worked through your conflict and issues and everything. You're starting to thrive a bit more. Now, what does thriving look like? So a thriving marriage looks like this. You have romance, you have intimacy, you have a deep, deep friendship, and you guys are both studying Spouse-ology, which is a term I coined to it just illustrate the topic that I define as this. Spouse-ology is when you dedicate yourself to studying your spouse. It's the never-ending pursuit of understanding them. And so Spouse-ology looks like, you are always wanting to know more about your spouse. You're never going to get to the end of them. You're never going to understand everything there is to know about them. And that is really the beginning of a thriving marriage, because how are you going to be romantic with someone that you don't know? How are you going to have intimacy with someone that you don't know very well? So even romance, for instance, my definition of that is it is a thoughtful gesture that shows your spouse that you were thinking of them. So it can be anything as grand as, a surprise, candlelit dinner in their favorite restaurant or whatever, or it can be a text message when they're having a hard day at work and it's, a long day, and you tell them, hey, I love you, I'm thinking about you, and I'm making your favorite dish at home tonight, something like that. It can be a grand gesture, it can be something very simple, but it's just showing them, I'm thinking about you, I see you, I love you, I care about you, and you're on my mind. And that starts with knowing your spouse. That starts with Spouse-ology, because if you don't understand your spouse, you don't really have a good understanding of their likes and dislikes and what they're into. You can't be romantic with that person, because you're not going to be capable of showing them that you care about them, that you're thinking about them, because you're going to be offering them things that they don't want, that they don't like, that they're not into, And so, for instance, in our relationship, one thing that I like, and we have a little video to illustrate this, is, I like a clean home, you like a clean home. We like certain things and tasks that are done in a certain way, and you have your expectations, I have mine, and so we try our best to fulfill those things and to keep the house the way that you like it, the way that I like it, and just those simple little things, those are an act of love, and that is an act of romance. I'm sending you text messages now, yeah. So go ahead.
Do you have those?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to put the pictures in the video. Yeah, so we can see. I'm always texting you. Look at what I'm doing. So you want to explain?
Well, every time you go to make coffee, which is like once every 4 days, you go to the espresso machine.
I'm not a big coffee drinker,
but I drink it twice a day. But you go to the espresso machine and you go to make coffee, and it's out of water. Every time, every single time,
and it has a little water tank that you take off the back and you fill with water and you put it back in.
Even though you're only using the espresso machine 2% of the time, you're filling up the water chamber 100% of the times that you're using it.
Yes, and I texted you recently.
You might think is suspicious.
So go ahead. So I texted you recently about it. Yeah.
Yes, you sent me a picture and you said, why
Every fucking time. Why? Why is this
like
happening?
this?
Why is this happening? Yeah.
And I said, do you really want to know?
I said, yes, I want to know.
It's like, okay, well, every time I use the espresso machine, I only put enough water in it to make coffee for me. The number of times I'm going to make it that day. I don't want to sit there and wait 15 more seconds for it to fill up all the way.
Right, exactly.
So anytime you go to use it, it's empty.
So now what would be the romantic thing to do in this scenario that would show me that you're thinking of me and that you care about me and you love me?
I guess to fill it up all the way.
Right, exactly. So that the one time I use it in the week, I'm not having to get out there and do exactly. Yes. Yeah. So, you know, it's so there's really a couple of different ways that you can show romance towards your spouse. There is doing something, you know, that shows them that you're thinking about them. And then there is definitely
abstaining from doing something
that you know is upsetting or frustrating.
Want to harm
yeah,
you.
so it's direct actions and it's, you know, indirect actions where you're abstaining from bad behavior. Yeah. So do you want to tell that story about the thing that you are better at now? Go ahead. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I would leave my coffee cups if they had a little bit of coffee left in them, maybe sometimes. I would just leave them wherever. Right.
Or for a long time, it was the half-empty glasses of Waterade, which is, you know, maybe how many parts water and some parts lemonade? That's what you like to drink.
1/5 lemonade.
Okay,
the
1/5
rest water,
okay,
which makes drinking water tolerable.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend you to say we're gonna move on. But you know, you just there's always half-empty glasses everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm knocking them over at night when I go to the bedside or something, grab my phone or whatever. And you constantly were knocking them over to the extent that there was stains all over the bed and all over your side of the room because you just in the night I'd be sleeping out here. Fuck damn it. Because you're just knocking over half-empty glasses. And meanwhile, I have like a cup that has a lid, and I'm like, why don't you just do that? You just refuse.
I don't want to use a sippy cup.
Right. So we've had this conversation many times. It's like, can we just please refrain from leaving half-empty glasses and coffee mugs everywhere you go?
Right.
You know, and this all came to, you know, a point where of frustration, and I definitely laughed about it, but I was also frustrated where, you know, go ahead. Well, no, you know, I'm going to tell the story. So we're getting home from like vacation or something like that. We went to camping for a couple of days or whatever. And I go to our bedroom and I'm, you know, bringing things to like the closet. And I go through the master bath and then, you know, I hadn't turned the light on or whatever. I think I was just going to turn the light on in the closet. And I kick over a half-empty glass of coffee that had been there for the whole weekend, and it's just sitting in the middle of the floor, in the middle of the bathroom. I kick it over.
That's where I was sitting at the time that I was drinking it.
And
so naturally, that's where I'm going to set it down.
So it spills, and there's days-old coffee and milk on the floor, and it was full of ants. Yeah, so that is now thankfully, you know, a behavior that you have chosen to abstain from in order to show me how much you love me.
Yes, and I point it out every time. Lovey, look, I'm taking my dishes to the sink.
I did a romance.
I get points for it.
I did a romance, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, we're joking about it, and this is playful and fun, but I mean, that really is the definition of romance, you know, is to abstain from things that you know frustrate your spouse and to do direct things that make them know that you're thinking about them, you know?
Right.
It's as simple. I mean, typically people think of these grand gestures of romance, but it really is as simple as put your fucking dishes away and please fill up the coffee, you know,
it's the
water.
little everyday thing.
That actually is really meaningful to me. I mean, what are some things that maybe I do that are like, you know, small things that are like meaningful to you, would you think? I mean, the dishes, I know that's one.
Yeah, unloading the dishwasher.
Right. Yeah. You thank me every time I do it. Like, it means something to you. It's helpful.
It makes my life easier.
Yes.
Like, I hate doing it.
Mhm.
Oh, just anything I hate doing. You clean the floors.
Right.
I hate it. I'll put all the dirty dishes in the dishwasher, but you'll clean the sink because I hate doing it.
Yeah, you don't mind doing the dishes, but cleaning the sink afterwards, you're not doing it. You hate it. And I don't mind because, I'll take care of that and, that makes you happy.
Yeah.
It's silly little things like that are romance.
Yeah.
Silly little things like that are romance. And, but it can also be grand gestures, I mean, if we were to talk about the most romantic thing that I ever did for you, it was on our anniversary. I booked a cabin in the woods and we're on our way out there. And I was like, oh, hey, our favorite band has a new song out. You want to hear it? Check it out. And you're like,
I believed you too.
You did believe me.
I believed you.
Was I wrong? It was a new song from our favorite band. Okay. It's just that it was made for us because they offer, and that's Emery. If anybody wants to know Emery, they offer, to make custom songs for, their fans. And so I had hired them to do that. And they made a custom song just for us. It was all about our story and everything. And it was beautiful. And you cried. And it was fun. I got to film your reaction. And to see you go from like confusion to shock and like horror. And then realizing what was happening. And then tears of joy and you crying.
Yeah.
Like, it was beautiful. It was a really beautiful
And
moment.
then we listened to it for the rest of the weekend while we were on our little anniversary vacation.
Yeah. I mean,
and we listen to it every year
Yeah.
on our anniversary.
Yeah.
It's the best.
And I knew that would mean a lot to you, that I had done something that you never would have thought to ask for, never would have thought that you would enjoy, but I knew you would love it.
Yeah.
And they killed it, and they did such a good job with that song. Maybe we should show some of it.
Or like, oh, we definitely should.
Yeah.
And my reaction.
Right.
Or like something I did for you is we were watching one of your favorite movies, Rocky. I think it was the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very end, the last like pose, they turn it into like this painting.
This painting, yeah, where they're just like punching each other. Yeah. Rocky and Apollo Creed.
And you're like, man, that's what I would put on the wall if I were in charge of decorating.
I don't even remember saying that, but I was like, man, that's a dope painting. I'd love to have that. And I forgot I even said that.
In my head, I was like, ooh.
Right.
Gift idea, because it is so hard to get you things.
Yes.
So I wrote it down on my little phone, and then later I went and bought a print of it from Amazon for you for like Father's Day or your birthday or something.
Right.
And you loved it.
I did love it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite gifts. I think that is probably my favorite gift from you. It's awesome.
And it's fun because you had no idea that I was going to do that, because I just like stored away that little bit of information for later. Because anytime like, I'm like, oh, it's a special occasion, got to get a gift.
Right.
If it's something last minute and like generic, that's not super thoughtful.
No.
It's not even worth doing to me, really.
Right.
But if I can like store up some information to pull from later, when it's time to get you a gift, that's fun.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, so let's actually do that. Let's show some of the song here. We'll react to it. Yeah, I've got it here. I just want to show part of it, and then we could show your reaction to it.
We became husband and wife. So how does love grow? Now I know. And Maddie, I see your eyes. There's no other.
I see.
One but you.
Oh, I love
you. That was the part where you're like, oh.
That's when I realized what this was.
You were so shocked.
There were years where I thought everything might be lost. Fear and depression filled all of my thoughts. But you were an anchor in my best friend. I'm still a...
I was was like, oh my gosh, you told him about that? That's so embarrassing.
Please tell your strength never ends. I've only felt safe with you. I've always felt.
Wow.
They did such a great job with that.
What a beautiful
love
song.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously anybody could look at that like, wow, what a romantic thing, you know? And that's sure, that's something, you know, a grand gesture of romance every once in a while is awesome to just remind you guys why you're together and what you've been through and, you know, just rededicate and just really go all out to show that person, I care about you, I love you, I'm thinking of you, and I want you to feel loved, you know? That's great. But so is the small things, the day-to-day stuff. You know, those things really matter too. And I mean, for instance, a grand gesture of romance.
How
What-
often can you do that
Yeah,
anyways? Like
yeah.
once every few years?
And also, what good is it when you're not showing, you know, love and romancing your spouse daily?
Right.
What good is it, you know, at that point? You know, but we've gotten to a place where I know you better than you know yourself. And I study you diligently. And because I want to know you, I want to know all there is about you. I'm very intrigued by you, and I'll never get to the end of you. And you know, that's our relationship started with, you know, we met at that silly Sprint store, and then you know, we're chatting it up on Facebook, and then you know, we had phone calls that lasted 5 hours. And we still do that to this day. We will have a date night where we're trying to watch a movie and then we're pausing it because we just end up talking. And the next thing you know,
We've been talking for 2.5 hours
Right.
and we ran out of time to watch the movie.
Yeah. And I'm learning, oh, you never told me that story. That's crazy. Tell me more. You know, like
Right.
we're never going to get to the end of it. It's never going to happen. And I'm always studying you. And I know you so well that I can tell you exactly what's going on in your head.
Just by my subtle looks and facial expressions.
Mhm. Yep. And then you always frustratingly and hilariously tell me, quit knowing me, because I just know you too well. And I always know what's going on in your head. And because of that, I'm able to romance you. Like I know what you like and dislike.
True.
And the same can be said for me. That's the way you romance me. You know, and it's not complicated. It's very simple. Know your spouse and show them that you know them. You know, it doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. I mean, another funny story to tell about, you know, how we know each other is just so well is that, you know, eventually you're gonna come to a point where you know each other so well when you're spending that time and putting that effort and work into understanding each other, studying each other, asking questions and learning about each other more. And even learning more about each other as you grow and evolve together, because you're finding out more about yourselves together as you experience life together and try new things together. Eventually, you come to a point where you start to develop this superpower where you actually start to feel what they're feeling. So not only do I know how you feel, I start to feel that too. And it's a superpower that is both very helpful, but also very frustrating. Because, you know, for instance, you have, you know, anxiety off and on, and, you know, you might be anxious about, you know, the people coming to visit or something like that. And so the house has to be spotless. And then now I'm anxious about it, you know?
This is actually great for me.
Right. Yes, I'm sure you appreciate the fact that you don't have to share that burden alone anymore.
Because
right?
then you just have to help me furiously clean until I'm satisfied.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll be anxious the
Yes,
whole
I'm
time.
actually anxious. Yeah, yeah. Or even, you know, maybe a little bit, you know, not as fun situation to express that though is like around certain family members, you're uncomfortable, you know, and around some of your family members, maybe you're uncomfortable and you have this anxiety to like please and to make them happy, even if they're not really behaving super well. And I'm not like that. I don't give a fuck what those kind of people say. I value authenticity. I value being able to be myself. And I'm not going to walk around on eggshells and try to be careful about what I say around someone because I don't want to offend them. I'm not going to fucking do that. But for whatever reason, your anxiety rubs off on me. And then I'm like, oh, I better not talk about this subject because that might upset them. you know? And then I'm like, what the hell is happening to me? Why am I anxious about that? It's just because of our
secondhand anxiety.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it's because of our connection.
Right.
And so to get back to a funny story that illustrates that. Yeah, this is something that we did not mention in the book and that I did not put in our online courses, but
Well, I feel like it happened recently. We were watching American Primeval, and there's this one character is real quiet and like reserved.
he's like an army ranger guy.
Really
He's in the
tough,
he's battling, the natives in the, harsh region of the early West. It's like early 1800s or something. And
so he's a soldier, and
He's a
he's
soldier.
a writer. He's like writing in his journal and stuff.
Mhm.
And
he's got an immaculate, cool uniform and his dope hat.
Uniform.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And anyways, I made no indication whatsoever that I found this character attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I had to pause the show at one point.
The show, and you look at me, and you're like, why? Why am I feeling some kind of attraction towards this man?
Yeah, right. I was like, what? I just look at you like suspiciously. I'm like, you're like, what? And I'm like, why do I find this man attraction? Why do I think that he has a sexy mustache? And it was very, so mine is, just kind of, it's only on the bottom half right here. I can't grow it like a full mustache up here.
Right.
But he has a full, like robust, sexy mustache,
I feel like it only worked in that time period, but
it was dope. Honestly, it was. And I'm looking at you like, why am I attracted to this man? And what you said was, I thought I was being subtle about it. Like you were like, I didn't think I was, portray or like showing evidence that I liked it. That I thought this guy was attractive, but apparently I wasn't. It's like, no, actually you weren't. You weren't sure. I'm just so in tune with you that
you feel what I feel.
That I fucking feel attraction to a man. What the hell is that? I've never been attracted to a man in any way, shape, or form. But all of a sudden, and that's literally never happened to me. I've never been watching anything, any TV show, movie, or anything, and be like, that dude's really hot. I've never done that. But we're watching the show, and we're like 5 or 6 episodes in, and I'm like, damn, that guy's hot. What the fuck is wrong with me right now? Yeah. So
you're just too in tune with your wife.
I'm way too in tune with you, apparently. Yeah. Because it goes beyond just I know what you're thinking. I'm also feeling what you're feeling, even to the extreme of feeling attraction towards a man. Yeah.
I'm sorry I did this to you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But it works both ways, because if you're stressed about something, you're very good at concealing it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know, because
that's true.
You're a little less talkative.
Mm-hmm.
You talk so much.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk like 2% less, I know something's wrong.
You have the sixth sense too. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I know when you're stressed.
Yeah.
I know when you need attention, even though you're not obvious about it like I am.
Right.
And I need your attention all the time.
True. Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, you need some attention,
Right.
and I can recognize that.
Yeah. And so this, as absurd of a story as that is, this is a perfect illustration about a thriving marriage. That is what a thriving marriage looks like. Where I am so in tune with you that I'm feeling what you're feeling, and I know what you're feeling, and I can act on that knowledge that I have of you, and then I can, show you romance, and I can show you how I'm thinking of you and how I love you, and so that's what thriving looks like. And we have a ton of hilarious, ridiculous, very fun stories like that we could share. Also when it comes to the other topics that we discuss in the online courses and in the book, like when it comes to friendship or when it comes to intimacy, things like that. There's a ton of things that we could share, but to just highlight these two topics, romance and spouse-ology, that's what that looks like. And for the audience to,
Knowing you so well, I know you better than myself. And I'm so glad that you know me better than I know myself, because I don't know what to do with me.
Right. Yeah. So anyone in the audience is trying to attempt to develop the romance in their relationship, it's pretty simple. You just have to practice. Well, I mean, one thing that we talk about in the book and in the courses is that we recommend that you maybe try to keep score. You know, keep a log of how many times you were thinking about your spouse. Give yourself a point for that.
Put my dish in the sink.
Right, and then give yourself maybe 5 points for every time you act on those thoughtful, on those thoughts you're having towards your spouse. Yeah. Yeah, put your dishes in the sink, fill up the espresso machine, and for me it'd be, that I did the dishes, or I took the dishes out of the dishwasher, whatever it may be, so, and if you're keeping a track of it though, and then you can also measure and hopefully see an upward, progression of you getting more and more points towards you're thinking about your spouse more throughout the day. It's very easy, for instance, for me to just start my work day at home and I'm typing, I'm writing, I'm doing emails and stuff while you're at your nursing job, and to just not think about you and not text you. That's an easy thing to do.
Just be in work mode.
Just, you're just doing your day,
Yeah.
But I know that you expect to hear from me, and I expect to hear from you. And if it comes to be like 10, 11, noon, and we haven't talked at all, and I haven't texted you how's your day going, and we haven't, then there's something wrong.
I'm worried about you.
Yeah, you actually get worried about
so
me.
it's just courteous for you to text me
Yes.
like, good morning.
Well, same thing here. Like if I haven't heard back from you by like 1 or 2 o'clock, this has happened. I'm literally calling your office because it's so, I'm sorry, your floor, because it's so out of the ordinary that I hadn't heard from you all day.
You're like literally concerned that I got abducted or something on the way to work.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm worried, like, did something happen? Like, and so I call him like, hey, just wanted to see, if Maddie's on the floor, if I could chat with her for a minute, and then you get on the phone, you're like, yeah, sorry, I just really was super busy today. I'm like, okay, no big deal. I was just wondering about you.
Everybody's trying to die. I don't want to let them.
Right. Yeah.
Usually.
Sorry, I'm
what happened?
keeping people alive over here,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm not angry and I'm not upset or frustrated. I'm just like, hey, just want to check on you,
Here's a romance I do when I leave the house to like go do errands all day, hang out with my family, whatever. I'll turn the volume on my phone so that when you call me to check on me, I can answer it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about me.
Right. Yeah, because you know that when I call you and I can't reach you, that disturbs me.
Right.
Yes. And so that is definitely an act of love and an act of romance when you just turn your damn phone on instead of it being on vibrate or silent like a psychopath. So, yeah, I think that pretty well illustrates what we had to talk about today. But yeah, if anybody at home wants to know more about these things, you want to dig more into what are those things that we can do to have a thriving relationship, and we highly encourage you to check out the book when it comes out, Tenacity. And if you want to get involved with our online courses that are available, that's patrickemartinez.com, and I believe it's /courses. Check those out. Plenty more information and resources we have for you, and we'd love to help you. If you have any questions, you want to just email us. Check us out. Email us at info@patrickemartinez.com. I think that settles it. So thanks for being with us, folks, and have a good one.